let's soldier on with the story of the individual, which also plays a huge role in the distortion of consciousness and awareness. So the story of the individual is a yet another conceptual construct, and it is directly linked to language. So there's a association between language and the story of the individual. So imagine yourself as a little child. So not yet colored in language. I don't know nothing. I know nothing. I ain't nothing. There's nothing to do other than being alive. And everything is sort of equal. It's the great equalizer. No one is better nor worse than what is experienced by awareness itself. So it is exactly what it is. And I don't know what it is. So that's the destroying the illusion of language I did in the previous video session. So the great equalizer, let's call it this, a great term, because it's a neutral non-position, if you will. I'm not taking any position, if you will. I'm neutral. I am that I am. This isness is exactly what it is, but I don't know what it is. Not a hand. I could call this an experience, but I could also remove the idea of an experience and completely marinate within, not intellectualize what is happening, quote unquote, happening in this moment, but completely, letting go of any particular need to know what is going on, intellectually speaking. But this requires a little effort in the beginning, and then it becomes effortless. There's a transition from the doership, the ego's tendency or need to awaken. I want to awake, I want to awake, I want to awake. And this is literally the beginning, and that's completely okay. But just know that there's going to be a transition whenever awareness reveals itself, a little tiny, gap in through which awareness shows itself. The gap between thinking from this point now on. Try to think about thinking. So, do you see that? There's a little gap between where awareness is, where you as awareness are no longer occupied in thought activity. So now this isness, if you will, is neutral, unconditional love. It's synonym with awareness, consciousness, whatever, or anyway, illumination, we could say. It is that which illuminates this experience, this whole experience. It is ever present at all times, if you will, in the background, metaphorically speaking, illuminating all of this. So the story of the individual is being perpetuated throughout our upbringing by introducing the world of things. I mean, relatively speaking, we were indoctrinated into certain paradigms of that was an extension of language. So the human consciousness became an extension of existentially speaking, almost like being the language, experiencing the world through a lens, through a filter of language. So now everything is colored in language. That is the story of the individual. Well, I am a person with different needs, and I'm longing for awakening right now. But since this very longing is an illusion, we are missing the point, because what is already the case, as I told you right before is you're infinite, which is that which is already the case. But it is being missed whenever you say, I have to get a little nugget of information that'll allow for me to awaken. The next piece of information will be enough for me to wake up. No, that's the illusion. Completely let go. There's nothing to do right here. It's just what is right here. This right here. Almost, this is like, it's just happening. It's apparently happening, but to nobody, to no one, it just is exactly what it is. I don't know what it is. It is nowhere, and in a sense everywhere. It is nothing projecting itself as everything, if you will. Because if you say I'm a human being, well, who's doing that or what is doing that? That is the modulation through which the distortion is taking place, as the very need or that very action of distorting or identifying with that which is Maya or the illusion, quote unquote, this experience as, well, I have to long for something. I need something. Yet again postponed unto the future. And the future is a thought. So you see, whenever we erase thought and it is being noticed that thoughts is thoughts, the activity of thinking, which is in a sense mental images or awareness or consciousness modulating experiences, almost like you look at your phone and you go into the folder of pictures and you scroll through your pictures. There's a catalog in awareness or in consciousness that has programmed specific thoughts. We could call this neurons, modulated neurons that will, it will spark at different points whenever you associate to different experiences or being reminded, recollectively speaking, of certain ideas or something that you have experienced in the past. You see, it's all, programmed consciousness, which we call thoughts. And that is our initial experience, our current experience of this world. So that's a very limited paradigm. So the story of the individual is basically, it's missing the point, because the story of the individual is like, I'm the center of the universe. Everything is revolving around me and me and me and me. But if the story of the individual is collapsing, there's no longer any me. There could be an expanded sense of identity, but if you completely let go of identity, there's just an innocent, neutral, unconditional, whole isness present. It is just exactly what it is, without any attempt to do anything. And that is what we are longing for. That is what is being missed whenever we go into the story of the individual. So whenever we wake up from the story of the individual, we realize that it has never ever been the case. It was the illusion, because this is reality. Reality is not a thing. It's not an object. It's not, the human experience we have never ever existed. So existence in and of itself, or experience, or knowing, the one trying to know everything, is the illusion. It is nothingness, no thing doing that. And it is all of this, here. That is the illusion, but it is seemingly what it is. It's complete, it's freedom. Be aware, be awake, right here, right now. Look at it. It is what it is. I don't know what it is. And start from here.